All right. Woo. Okay. Look,
Hi
having some.
there, we in here.
How are you? Welcome
I
to
am
Wife
fabulous.
Talk.
Okay, that's right. We are here live. I'm ready.
You ready? Listen, for
I'm
those of
ready.
you who are just tuning in, come on in, come on in. Y'all know this is our very first show. We are kicking it off. So, hello, hello to everybody who's tuning in. We've got IG over here. We've got Hot Wife Society. We got the Hot Wife for Life community, and of course, the We Empower Network. So, I am your host, A Love. This is my girl, S Marie. And together, baby, we are bringing it to you guys, talking about wife talk, and it's all surrounding mind, money, and marriage. What you think about that? Mind, money, and marriage.
That's important. Those are some words that coincide with one another. Of course, you got to use your mind. You want to be married. Okay. So, hey, it just goes together mind and it takes money. Okay. To take
Hey,
care of yourself, to take care of your family, and to do the things that you want to do to live this hot life that we are trying to live. I'm here for it.
yes, I'm super excited because at one point in time, we've had wife talk, and we did it a couple of years ago, kind of put it to the side for a minute. But I thought 2024, it's time to bring this thing
Bring it
back. So I
back.
see a couple of people coming on in. Regina, hello. I see somebody else, Facebook user, that says good evening. So I can't see your name, but if you get a chance to go and give StreamYard permissions, then we'll be able to see who you are and everything on here. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. Please share this broadcast. As we said, this is our very first episode, and tonight, we didn't really have anything specific planned outside of just coming in and saying hello, making an introduction, and kind of getting you guys used to, who we are and what's about to happen every Tuesday going forward at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, Esther Marie, listen, what do you think about the topic when we say hot wife talk and hot wife and all of those things? It's so many people who have, I guess, different perspectives when they hear the word hot wife. They kind of feel some type of way, like, I don't know. Some women are like, oh, I love it, and others are kind of like, that's a little bit much. What are your thoughts
Absolutely.
about hot wife?
At first, when you first said it, I was like, "Oh, hot wife, hot." I don't know, but the more and more I thought about it, it was what you said. It's more than just the word hot. What are you hot in? I'm hot in my marriage. I'm hot in life in general. I'm a boss. I'm a mother. I'm a sister. I'm just hot all around. I'm doing my thing. I'm doing what I love, and I'm just living my best life. And that's what hot wife, hot life means to me. Because again, we are all different. We come from different cultures, different paths. We have different views on life, but at the end of the day, we are hot. We are doing our thing. We are living this life that we want to live, and we're not worried about anything else. We're worried about doing what we do best, and that's just being us. And I think it's important that people do that. So many people have different perspectives of what you should do, or what you shouldn't do, and at the end of the day, all you can do is just be you.
Come on with the BU. And I think that's really important because y'all know, and the reason I say that about, hot life is because, yes, Regina said, honey, hot wife, hot life. The thing about it is, when you talk about being a hot wife, for so many women, once you get married, at first, you thinking, yes, baby, I'm hot, all the things, honey, I'm loving it, loving life, all that. Then life starts lifing, and you start
Yes.
thinking about, like, okay, I was hot, now I got to maintain a household. Now I can't keep it cute like I used to. And you start losing yourself when you start dealing with family and jobs and getting the kids up and doing all these different things that we do when we get married. It
Right.
becomes a transition because a lot of times, the women start, you start thinking like, child, let me go and throw these sweats on to get this thing together. And you start feeling less hot
Right.
than you used to, right?
Right, that's so true. But the one thing about it is the first thing is mind. We have to keep our mind right. If our mind isn't right and we don't have that high value for ourselves, then no one else is. And just because you become a mother or a wife or a grandmother or whatever it is that you are, that does not mean that you have to lose your sense of self. And I think that a lot of times we do, we get comfortable and we get complacent and, oh, I don't want to. But you know what? You are a representation of whoever you are with. And whether it's your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your kids, your husband, you're a representation. So you always want to go and represent yourself well. You can be cute in sweats. You can be cute at work. You can be cute in the grocery store. There may be some times where you don't want to dress up. But at the end of the day, as long as you are happy with you, that's all that matters. And that's what's important. So it's all about our mindset. If we keep that mindset going, nothing can stop us.
Nothing can stop us. And you know
Nothing.
what? This is the thing. You are still a woman first. Even
Absolutely.
in marriage, even in being a mother, you still are a woman first. So we have to
Absolutely.
learn not to lose that first thing, which is loving ourselves. You got to
Yes.
love yourself, and it's the mindset. A
Mhm.
lot of times we lose identities because you start becoming, honey, that's John's mom, or that's
Right.
Michael's wife, or whatever the case may be,
Right.
versus this a love or this S Marie. They stop forgetting your
Right.
name and start attaching you to who you
Yes.
are in somebody's life, right? That's all of that. But at the end of the day, we got to start speaking up and saying, no, baby, honey, this is A
Absolutely.
Love. This is Angela. Call me by my name. Listen, yes, I might be
Okay.
somebody's mom. I might be somebody's wife, but I am still me. I still have my identity. I'm a
Absolutely.
woman first. And when you start recognize that, then cater to the woman as you are catering to your husband, as you're, running
Yes.
around taking care of your household. Still know that you are important. Your likes didn't change. You know what I'm saying? You still want to do things. You may not have as much time, but that doesn't mean that
Right.
changed. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And that's the thing. We have to make the time. I was talking to my best friend, and, that was one of the things we talked about is sometimes we get so complacent in just doing for other people or living this routine that we forget about us. But it's important. Get your nails done, your hair done. I love to go and buy a new hat. That's my thing. It doesn't matter whatever it is that makes you feel good about yourself. You still have to maintain that same mindset that you had going into your marriage, going into being a mother or whatever it is that you are doing with your life that's different than it was 20 years ago. You are still the same person internally. So you have to keep that up. No one else is going to keep that up for you. So you have to do what is best for you. You have to feel good. You want to look good. You want to smell good. All of that. That's a hot life right there. It takes a lot. And it takes strong women to keep that up. And if you know who you are a strong individual. And we may lose ourselves just a little bit, but you got to get that back. Snap it back. How they say, snap your body back, snap your mind back.
Yes, snap your mind back because it is the
Right.
mindset. And I'm seeing, honey, I'm loving the comments, lady. Make sure y'all tag somebody because Joanna came back and repeated what you said. True, be you. Regina said it's easy to lose your identity. It's important to stay
Absolutely.
authentic to who you are.
Yes. Yes.
Joanna said, yes, yes, good point. And yeah, Regina said, snatch it back. Because at the end of the
Right,
day,
Regina.
this is the thing. Y'all remember when Martin and Gina used to be together? She was
Girl.
Martin, your mind, it's all out here somewhere, baby. Snatch it back. Snatch it back.
Snatch it back.
You don't want to get so far gone to where you
Absolutely.
start losing yourself to the point that when you get in
Mhm.
your later years, in your 40s and 50s or 60s, you don't
Yes.
even know who you are looking in the mirror. Like you just like, wait a minute.
Confused.
Have y'all heard the expression? I've let all my good years get gone to
Ooh,
somebody,
yes.
being a wife and being a mother. But why do we need to do that? Don't let yourself get to a point where you feel like all
Yeah.
your good years are gone.
Come on.
No, baby, like fine wine, we get better with
The
time, and you
time.
gotta have that in your mindset.
Okay.
Like, hey, it don't get no better than where I am right now. And in 10 years
Right.
from now, it's not gonna get no any better than where I am at that time. And as long as you
Exactly.
believe that, as long as you walk in that, and as long as you again stay true to you, because guess what? Everybody don't want to wear wigs and weave.
Right.
Everybody don't want to wear makeup and lipstick and all that stuff. Some people don't like to dress up. They just want to be comfortable. And if
Right.
that's your style, baby, rock the mess out of that
Live it.
style because that still is being hot in your own
Mhm.
life. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
Absolutely.
embrace what you want.
And we have to think about it too, as mothers, when you have girls, you are grooming them. And even if you have a boy, you are teaching them what to look for in a woman. So losing your sense of self, you're setting the tone for them, especially when they're young. But then when they get older and they want to date and they want to start hanging out and being interested in the opposite or whatever sex that you're interested in, it's important that they see the value in you, so they will know what to value when they step out. That's important because you have to have that partner. A marriage is about partnership. So when you
Yes.
have that partnership, you want your child to get a good partner. You want them to get a partner like you, because you can't tell me nothing. I'm hurt all day every day. I live in my greatness, but at the end of the day, I've lost myself at some point, yes. But one thing that I would love for my son to know is, hey, my mother is who she is. She owns it every day, all day, right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm still me. And I'm the only one that can, like Regina said, I can only snatch it back for me. So when I snatch it back
Yes.
for me, I'm snatching it back for the rest. So they know to jump on board. So they know what to look for.
Yes, I love that. It's setting the example, but again, snatching it back for you. It can't be for somebody else. We talk about, at church they say you can't get saved. Your mama can't get you in heaven. Your daddy can't get you in heaven. Your grandmama, she might be praying for you, but she can't get you there. You got to do it yourself. So when you snatch it back for you. I see Regina said we must flourish, especially if you have
Yes,
raised your child. It's your time to flourish in your life. And we want to be able to do the things that make us happy. I just want to say it is so easy to lose yourself in a marriage by putting your spouse first. And
yes,
that's true. Because, yeah, I remember coming to America, what they tell that girl, look, what you want, what you like, whatever he like. That's cute in the movie, but in reality,
right.
baby, listen, don't be drinking coffee when you really like hot tea. Let him have his
That
coffee
part.
and fix you your tea. You know what I'm saying? You don't
Absolutely.
always have to compromise. Sometimes stay true to
No.
what you like to do.
Right. And I think that is the misconception about marriage. It is about compromising, but not every day, all day. And it is not just the wife, it is both parties that have to compromise. And a lot of people think, oh, well, he's the head of my household. I have to compromise. You have to compromise sometimes on certain things, but the importance is, if you have a partner, then that person is going to know what's important to you, so they're going to know what you want to compromise on. They're going to understand how you feel, and communication is going to be your best friend in a marriage. And sometimes,
Ooh,
me too, we've lost that. Sometimes we lose that communication, and that's where things go sideways, and then again we question ourselves, we question our marriage. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that compromising is cool, but not at the expense of your own self. And that's, what people just fail to realize, like, oh, if I don't, he's going to feel this way. I'm sorry. You got to feel some kind of way sometimes, because if it makes me happy, let me try it out. If I fail, that's fine. We'll talk about it next week. But today, let me do this because I feel good. It's
yes.
all about that excellence. We have to be excellent for ourselves, and we have to be resilient about it. So my hashtag is always excellence takes resilience. And you can't be excellent if you're compromising who you are and what you feel all the time.
Woo, baby, you have said a whole mouthful there. And I'm gonna say this too. When you think about when you were dating somebody before you even got married,
Mhm.
y'all were having fun, you enjoying life. He fell in love with who you were then. So if you were adventurous then, if you were trying new things then, that shouldn't stop because
Not
you
at
get
all.
married. He
Not
fell in
at
love
all.
with that woman there. And sometimes, again, like you say, compromise, but it requires conversation. And I'm telling you, I've been guilty where sometimes,
Absolutely.
I felt some type of way and I just didn't say anything because I didn't want to rock the boat. But what
Right.
happened was that as time progressed, I got more and more resentful and
Yeah.
less resilient. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yes.
after a while, it wasn't no bounce back because I was just like I was over it.
No. Yeah, you get in a rut. You get in a rut, and it
Yes.
and it and it deteriorates you mentally first. And been
Mhm.
there, done that. And that's the hardest thing, because when we allow other people, exactly, you shouldn't feel like you're in a prison in a marriage. It should be fun. It should be outgoing. And it's definitely important to have that mate where, you can go out and have fun with. But then you can have those lounge days, that you just want to chill out at home. Hey, babe, I don't want to go out today. And there shouldn't be any conflict. But at the same time, don't stop him from going. Let him go live his life. Don't hold up his flow because you want to stay home. You have to have that balance. balance. And again, every person needs it. It's not about the wife, it's not about the hubby, it's about both. And the moment we understand that chemistry and that importance of that balance, that's when you start to have that life well lived, as they say,
Mhm.
because it's important for both people to be happy, to flourish. As you said, you want to flourish in your marriage, but you also want to flourish as an individual. And when you are
Yes.
not flourishing as an individual, you can't flourish in a marriage because you've lost your sense of self. So it's always important to keep that, to accept who you are, to be who you are, and just do you. It's individuality, absolutely, Joanna. It's about the individual that makes that spouse that you liked, right? Because I was me, as you said before, I was me before I met you. So I still got to be me. That me has to still live. Now, all the things that I may have done before you, same things we may not want to talk about, but or maybe we can. If you have that open marriage, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I understand that there's a balance and boundaries when you are married, but that doesn't mean that I can't be who I am as a person, and you be happy with that. If I'm happy, then let's be happy together with me being me. That's important.
Yes, with me feeling free to be me,
Yes.
because it's nothing worse. You know how they talk about imposter syndrome. It's nothing worse than feeling like an imposter in your own home.
In your
Feeling like you got to
yes.
be somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe your in-laws don't feel like, you are up to par. Or maybe they feel like you should be doing something. Or maybe the people
Mhm.
at work are saying their wives are doing this. And so they come home looking at you sideways because you're not
Mhm.
doing what everybody else is doing.
Right.
But at the end of the day, what's going on, Kelly A. Barnes? Thanks for tuning in. At the end of the day, when you're talking about being a wife, you got to
Right.
embrace who you are. And
And
if it's an issue with that, then we need to have a conversation, because I'm not asking you to come out and pretend like you somebody else. So
mm-mm.
don't expect me to do the same thing.
Right.
You knew what you got when you got us when you started.
Mhm.
So you got to be able to. And I'm not saying don't evolve, because we all should
Right.
evolve. You can't still be the same person when you got married in 1994 in 2024. You can't still
Right.
you can't be
It's
stagnant.
important.
You got to grow.
Right. Right. And we all change. And that's a part of life. There may be things that, again, I did 10 years ago that I'm not going to do today. But as you said, that's evolvement, that's maturity, that's growth, that's, growing into who you are. We're all destined to be someone or something. But that's not for anyone on this earth to judge. And I know my family hates when I say this, but I tell people when they say, oh, well, you should be like this, or this person did this, I tell my family all the time, listen, they talked about Jesus. Okay. He was the most perfect person that walked this earth. If they talk about a perfect person, I expect them to talk about a sinner like me, because I'm not perfect at all, but I am who I am and I have to own it. So as long as I'm happy living in my space, let me live in it. As long as it doesn't deter from our marriage, or, keep us from our goals or accomplishing things that we want to do, or going out there getting this money, raising our family, doing what we do, as long as it doesn't hold up that flow, let me be me. And I'm
Let
okay with others talking about me. Look, again, you talk about Jesus, talk about me too. That keep me in your mouth. That keeps me wanting to be motivated to do more. And that probably isn't the best mentality. But again, if I live my life, thinking about all the things and the people who talked about me, I would be a depressed soul. I really
girl.
would. You have to think about that. There are people who are going to talk about you, whether you're right, wrong, or indifferent. So as long as you are being yourself, don't worry about nobody else.
Listen, let me say this. A lot of times, we get so caught up in how other people are running their marriages, right? And you want to go into the comparison thing of, well, such and such do this for his wife, or, they be going on trips, or, well, he always makes sure. You can't
Mhm,
compare. We need to get out of the comparison lane of what somebody else is doing with
mhm,
their marriage, because
mhm.
sometimes you only get a bird's eye view of what you think is going on. It might not
Right.
even be what you think. What somebody says is not always what you
Mhm.
think is
That
going on.
surface
So
life.
you got to be
That's that
careful,
surface. You see the
baby.
surface.
What you talking about? Because I'm guaranteeing you, your grandparents were married for 50 years and didn't have any problem. Don't think because they
No,
made it look good that it was always peaches and cream, because that's not
right,
reality. Let's just break it
right.
down and keep it honest. One thing I love about Rev Pat, and hey, Raina, one thing I love about Rev Pat, she always say, be transparent and honest and let
Right.
people know. Marriage is not, baby, a piece of cake every single day of the week.
No.
It takes work. There's
Yes,
some ups and
hard
downs.
work.
It's some good times and bad times. It's some times where you get on my nerves
Yes.
and you make me sick, and I don't even really want to talk to you today. I'm really second guessing what I was thinking. And then there's times when I was like,
Right.
baby, I wouldn't trade you for nothing in
But
the world.
nothing.
You hear me?
Nothing, because it's yours. You know, you picked him. He picked you. You know, whoever did the picking, again, you decided, you agreed to walk down that journey together. And that's what's important. And if you are going to worry about somebody's opinion, let it be that person's opinion. You understand what I'm saying? Outsiders shouldn't matter. So again, I'm not perfect, but I'm me. I'm who I am. And again, like you said, marriage is hard work. There are going to be times where I don't like my spouse. There might be times where my kids get on my nerves, but at the end of the day, I still love them. They
Yes.
didn't ask to be here, or my husband, I chose him, but at the end of the day, he still get on my nerves. But again, we got to live this life and we got to fight this battle together. And if you give up on one another, then what was the point of you wasting all your time and money? It is work. It takes progress. You have to set goals. You have to communicate. There are so many things that go into a marriage. And again, it's never perfect. Life is not perfect. If
It's
it was, this world wouldn't be what it is today. We need a little strife and discord to keep us going, to build us, to make us stronger. And that's what people need to realize. That's what it takes to be in a marriage. It takes a little resistance, it takes a little time and effort to get it to where you need to be. But when you get to where you need to be, it's not going to last forever, but you got to live in that moment. That's what's important.
Yeah, live in the moments and
Yeah.
create moments for you and your family. Build traditions, build memories, do things that's going to sustain you when times are hard. Because hard times are going to come, whether it's financial hard times, whether it's issues with your health, whether it's issues, with work related stuff. Hard times come, but you know what? I feel like it's funny. We always can see the imperfection in our jobs, or in other areas, but it's like we have different expectations in marriage, and we're
Right.
two individuals coming together trying to figure it out. Nobody has the blueprint to say, okay, this is what it takes to make a perfect marriage, because a perfect marriage is not going to exist.
It
But what
doesn't
you
exist.
can do is talk about it. What you can
Mhm.
do is spend quality time. What you can do is pray for each other. You know what I'm saying? And ask God, as you working on me, God, as you working on him, work on me.
Hmm.
Put it
That's
out
true.
there. But and then live and be you and be
And I
the
love
best
what you
version of you
said.
you can be.
You said be you, but it's always funny when they say, "Oh, I'm pointing at you," but look at how many fingers you got pointing back at you. So
Mhm.
that reset, that self-evaluation, do that first. And that's what I tell, my clients all the time. You have to do a reset before you decide to ridicule someone else. Do
Yeah.
your own homework first. Make
Mhm.
sure your kitchen clean. Make sure your living room clean before you go and talk about somebody else's kitchen in their living room, because it's easy for us to do, because sometimes we are so quick to cast judgment even
Yeah.
against our own spouse,
Mhm.
and it's easy to do that in heated times and those moments. But again, before you do that self-evaluation. Make sure you right. And I have to do that all the time.
Mhm.
I have to do that self-evaluation because again, our mindsets are different. You just said that we don't all think the same, and we mature, and we don't always mature at the same rate and pace. You know what I'm saying? So I may mature 20 times faster than my spouse does. But when he gets there, he's going to see it. And until he does, I have to guide him, coach him. And the same as what it would be for him with me. He has to coach me and get me to where he needs me to be. And that's how you have a sound marriage. That's what makes marriage strong. That's what makes your bond stronger, is because you're growing together, you're grooming each other, you're coaching one another. And that's what it takes. It's not a, hey, I got you, it was perfect, it's gonna stay perfect. No, you gotta coach and coach and coach. You gotta build, you gotta get to where you can finish each other's sentences. You have to know what your spouse likes, you have to know what they want, what ticks them off. You have to understand all those things, but it takes time and hard work. It is not a walk in the park.
Yeah. Oh, it's not a walk in the park. Hey, cherry boy, cherry pie boy, good to see you on. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Y'all know this is our first episode of Wife Talk. And of
Yeah.
course, we are dropping information and things about mind, marriage, money, all of the things. We're just talking about life in general. And, one thing I think we miss out on the fact is that people come with history, people come with baggage. People come with a lot of things
Yes.
that make them who they are. Hey, Jamaica, make them who they are. And when you start thinking about that,
Yes.
now you may understand. You look at how somebody grew up. How did they, were they raised by their grandparents? Was their father in their lives? You know what I'm saying? Did they have siblings? Are they the only child? There's so many things that go into making a person who they are. And so sometimes you think they're supposed to just
Yes.
understand who you are and what you're thinking and what you want. But baby, can't nobody read your mind. You gotta open your mouth sometimes and tell somebody until you get to a place like like Esme
Yes.
said, when you can finish each other's sentence like, oh, I already knew how you was gonna feel about this. I didn't even have to ask you because I already knew. But it takes time to get
No, exactly. Absolutely. And I love what you said, about other people. When you think about the olden days, what did they tell us? Closed mouth doesn't get fed. So if
there.
you don't open your mouth, I'm not going to know. I'm not in the game of guessing. That's not my job. I have a whole new stream of income over here. It's not a guesser. I'm not a magician. You have to tell me what you want. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you feel. If you don't, until I get to the point where I feel like I'm well versed with you, I won't know. But again, communication, it takes communication to build that bond, to keep it going, to keep it, in a good space. Because again, when you're deteriorating, he or she will do the same thing. She said, can single people listen? Anybody can listen, honey. This is for
Absolutely. Everybody.
everybody. Yes, because you have to be an individual before you become a wife or a spouse in
Yes.
general. So,
Yes.
absolutely, this is about bonding, whether you are single, married, it does not matter. This is for everyone.
I love it. I love it, Miss Donna. Thank you so much for asking the question because at the end of the day, like I
Yes.
said before, we were women before we got into marriage. And so it can change you. It can create, some different things inside of you. But
Mhm.
hopefully, as y'all are moving together, you are getting stronger. You're getting better.
Yes,
You're becoming more of who you're supposed to be. That person should
exactly.
bring out the best in you, not the worst in you. And
Right.
that's one thing, but vice versa. You need to be bringing out the best in them. And sometimes it requires you to go out here and have your own life so that you can
Right.
bring something back to the table, right?
Right.
Like we said
Right.
earlier, you can't just be stagnant. Look, you can't get me when I'm 28 and I stay in a 20-year-old mentality. Like, that ain't cute. That is not
Not at
cute.
all. Not at all. A person wants someone who's going to mature because you want them to be better so they can make you better. I don't want to sit stagnant for the rest of my life. I want to progress. Again, excellence takes resilience. It takes, time. It takes for you to keep building on who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. And if we don't continuously try to grow and improve, we do stay stagnant, and that's when depression sits in. That's when you get uncomfortable in your own skin. So again, that's what we have to stay away from, that stagnant life. That's the total opposite of this hot life that we trying to talk to you about. You have to progress. You have to stay in this hot wife zone, this hot mentality, this hot hustle, everything that you got going. You want to stay in those moments. Leave those stagnant moments alone. Leave that immaturity behind. You want to grow into who you are. You want to grow into your marriage. You want to grow into your family so you can do things that you said before, create memories, because that's what it's about. You can't take anything with you. When people pass on, God rest their soul, but what can we do? We can have those memories of that time where we did this. We might have went on a vacation. We may have had a great conversation. Those are the things that you want to remember about people in general. So when you mature, you're able to reflect on those moments that you've had with people, and that's important.
That's important. Listen, we are only doing this for 30 minutes, so we are almost out of time. But before we go, I need you to share with the people what Wife Confessions is all about.
Oh, yes.
Woo!
So, as you know, we all go through something. We have friends that we can talk to, family, but sometimes it gets a little old, or sometimes you want a different perspective because some of us have those friends who will just ride for you all day long and they know you wrong. So, what we created is something called Life Confessions. If you want to talk to someone or you want someone to provide just a different outlook or a little guidance on a situation that you may be going through, you can submit a life confession. And Love will go ahead and put it in the chat. There's a link. What you do is you fill out the form, you tell us what's going on. You can keep it private or public. We can respond to you in private. You send us your life confession or your wife confession, excuse me, and we'll reply to you directly. After we converse, we'll provide you with some good tips, whether it be something from the Bible, whether it be something from another source. We want to provide you with some good feedback to help you work through your issue. So that would be private. But if you want to have a public conversation, to have, comments and thoughts from other ladies that are in our chat or are in the Hot Wife Society, then we'll go ahead and let you submit it. We'll read it online and we'll discuss it. And hopefully you get some good feedback, some valuable points that you can take with you, and maybe a different perspective. So we just want to be of service to you. That's what the Wife Confession is about. It is about being of service to people who are going through something, and you may not want anyone to know what you're going through. You really want to keep it private. So your name will be private unless you want to put your name. You can be bold. We'll accept that too. But at the end of the day, it is your opportunity to let off some steam and get some good feedback.
Yes, so I'm looking forward to the confessions. Y'all make sure I'll drop that information in the chat so that you can go ahead and submit one, because we'll be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 Central Standard Time. Make sure y'all tell somebody about this broadcast. Like I said, this is episode 1, baby. So this was just an introduction, but we're going to get into some things and start talking about, more of the marriage things. And even like Miss Donna said, for people who are single, hey, we want to hear your perspectives too. You may have questions about what is it like, being married, anything that you think of. We welcome you all to ask the questions, because that's what we're here for, to talk about, to have a good time, and listen, just to celebrate being who we are, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. So we're out of time. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Hopefully you can, if you didn't catch it the first time, maybe you're catching us on a replay. We appreciate it. Again, share the broadcast. Let people know that we are here every Tuesday night, and we will see you all next week. Y'all have a great night.